Hey, you're listening to a Wrestling Roundup, FreeFM 89.0, and it's your host, Grady Hooker. We'll jump straight into this day in history for professional wrestling on the 14th of February. We start off with the Monday Night Wars in 2000. Nitro has the US champion Jeff Jarrett defeating the WCW champion Sid Vicious with help from the NWO. While over on Raw, as always, it ends in a post-match brawl between the good guys and the bad guys, with Big Show, Kane, The Rock, Cactus Jack, and Triple H. There are a couple more Raws as well. In 2005, Batista calls out JBL just to be driven straight at in JBL's car, with Triple H saving his life. And in 2011, The Rock returned to Monday Night Raw and called out John Cena. There are a couple of pay-per-views. In 1999, WWF St. Valentine's Massacre, The Big Show Paul White debuted and threw Stone Cold Steve Austin straight through the steel cage, giving him the victory, actually, in the main event. So he defeated Mr. McMahon and got his WWF Championship shot at WrestleMania. There was also TNA Against All Odds in 2010. AJ Styles retained his TNA Championship against Samoa Joe, and his number one contender was named D'Angelo De Niro after he defeated 7 other men to win the 8-card stud tournament. So we'll jump into the classic entrance theme of the week. It's the late, great Mae Young. And you're back with the Wrestling Roundup, FreeFM 89.0, Grady Hooker, and live on Skype right now, so you can chat with us. We got Josh.
Yo.
So Raw started off with Randy Orton, and he's not too happy about being in the Elimination Chamber.
Would you be if you had to deal with that 2-ton metal structure?
Nah, but it seems his frustrations only got him worse, putting him in that gauntlet-y type match.
Beginning with everybody's favorite, Daniel Bryan.
We'll talk about how that happened, but let's just say it didn't go well.
No.
So up next, The Shield were back to their normal 6-man tag action, taking on the Intercontinental Champ Big E Langston, the man who supposedly is meant to be getting a push, Kofi Kingston, and the internet's favourite, Rey Mysterio.
This was a good tag team match. All 6 men are capable of putting on good matches. And it went to further the Wyatt Shield feud.
It also,
which they eventually announced that we are, in fact, going to get a match between the two teams.
Yeah, Ambrose also tugged himself in to steal the win off of Reigns.
That's continuing the dissension among the ranks.
Yeah, we'll talk a little more about the aftermath of that when we jump over to SmackDown. But right after the match, Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family cut a promo on the Shield.
Yeah, I'm actually really loving the fact that they're starting to give Luke Harper mic time to develop his own personality within the Wyatt family.
Yeah, I think with this 6-man tag match coming up at the Chamber, I think everyone's expecting a lot more promos between the 6 of them.
But yeah, because on SmackDown the previous week, he delivered an amazing line in the you picked a perfect heel to die on.
Yeah.
That was amazing. And is continuing it with the with this promo here. So I'm liking that they're starting to develop Luke Harper.
And to a lesser extent, Eric Rowan.
Yeah. Run.
Yeah. It's mic time. Might have been half a second, but it was mic time.
Yeah.
Up next, Bad News Barrett's here. He's still got his scissor lift, but Jerry Lawler wasn't too happy.
Yeah, I've got a bad feeling about this.
Yeah,
Uh, I hope we don't see Bad News Barrett versus Jerry Lawler, because that'll be bad.
be bad for
And
Lawler.
that's bad news for everybody.
I am hoping Bad News Barrett at least gets in the frickin' ring soon. Up next, though, we get a rematch from last week's SmackDown. Christian takes on Jack Swagger.
And continuing the dissension among the real Americans, I thought maybe they would break Antonio off, but it looks more like they're going to break Jack off and keep Antonio Cesaro with Zeb.
I have no idea what they're going to do. I think if we're looking at them and who could portray a good guy better, I'd definitely lean towards Cesaro.
I'm still holding out hope that Cesaro swings Zeb Coulter 100 times at WrestleMania.
Okay. Up next, we got a huge match. It was a cage match. Tag team championships on the line. New Age Outlaws defending against the Rhodes Brothers.
Alright, there was just something really off with the Road Dogg in this match. The entire match. I mean, he seemed to make mistakes that you wouldn't normally expect.
Yeah, I think the biggest one was the ending.
Yeah. That the moonsault, he pretty much just missed Cody altogether. And that was extremely dangerous for Cody.
Yeah, I don't think we'll be seeing many more cage moonsaults from Cody if Road Dogg has to catch him.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure once the Road Dogg got backstage, he got an earful from Vince McMahon.
Yeah, he probably would have got an earful, especially with if he dropped Cody the wrong way, something bad really could have happened. But as in classic New Age Outlaws fashion, Billy Gunn slides in at the last minute with the Famouser and picked up the win. And right after that match, we had a match where the, what would you call him, newly packaged Titus O'Neil took on Zack Ryder.
Yeah, well, I did my heart good to see Zack Ryder get his hind quarters kicked.
Yeah. I think there were a few things like Titus O'Neil's new theme and The Miz that I preferred a lot more than the match content itself.
It was what you would expect as far as the match went. But yeah, the Miz randomly coming out to commentary and hijacking commentary was the most interesting thing that happened.
Do we think this is something going forward that Miz is going to be like disgruntled and that's going to be his new angle?
It's possible. I think it's more along the lines of a shot at CM Punk.
Yeah, maybe.
It's possible they could turn it into an angle, or it could be an angle that's just because CM Punk walked out of the company and is disgruntled about his position and stuff. So we'll have to see going forward what they do. But it was definitely something worth noting.
Yeah. So is it Black History Month over there?
Yeah, February is Black History Month.
Okay, because we got a promo of the big cat Ernie Ladd.
Yeah. Celebrates the black wrestlers in the history of professional wrestling.
Okay. Up next, on a lighter note, we had the dance-off, which we all presumed was going to be between Fandango and the returning Santino, but it wasn't.
No. turned out to be Emma's in-ring debut.
Can you call it in ring? She got in the ring, but is it
She got in the ring, therefore it's an in-ring debut. It may not have been a match, but it's in-ring debut.
Okay.
They pulled her out of the crowd and brought her into the ring.
It's very similar to how Santino got his start.
Except she didn't win the Divas Championship right away.
No. But yeah, do we think Santino and Emma are going to stick together as partners?
Possibly. They were on commentary for the main event program, so
Okay.
it's possible. It's possible that they may just stick around for Emma's feud with Summer Rae.
Yeah. I don't think Emma can dance very well.
And she was still fun, though.
Yeah, but she's got one thing. It's like, at least come up with a second dance move rather than just dancing with the exact same move for 20 minutes. That's just how I feel personally. I think Summer Rae is the better dancer and should come out of this angle better. But then again, Emma's Australian, so I get to claim her.
Yeah. I figured there'd be some kind of bias against her because she was from Australia.
Well, it depends. If they do good and they're from Australia, we'll normally claim them. If they're bad, then yeah, they suck. But yeah, talking about Emma, that annoying song she danced to is actually her entrance theme. And now you're going to have to put up with about a minute of that. Haha! And you're back with a Wrestling Roundup, FreeFM 89.0, Grady, Hooker and Josh. Hopefully you stuck with us even through that Emma song. Up next we got Sheamus taking on Curtis Axel.
This was a nice little match. Axel has no personality, but he can wrestle.
Yeah.
And it's just good to see Sheamus back.
Bro kicking heads.
Again. Yep. Trying to launch him into the stands.
Okay. Up next, Batista cut a short little promo before Alberto Del Rio interfered.
And then, obviously, we're going to get a Batista-Alberto Del Rio match at the Elimination Chamber. That's
Which
a given.
Batista will probably squish Del Rio and move on to the champ.
Yeah. It wouldn't make any sense for Alberto Del Rio to win that match. So, I'd say it'll probably be about 10 minutes, because that'll probably be the limit of Batista's cardio.
Okay. Well, up next, it was another six-man tag match, sort of mirrored the one earlier. The Wyatt family took on Ziggler, Truth, and Woods.
And this was basically just a flat-out beatdown. Highlight was Ziggler getting his head taken off by Luke Harper.
Yeah. See, my highlight was actually after the match where the Shield sort of poked fun at what the Wyatts do.
Yeah. But yeah, that was. This is definitely an interesting feud. We've got Ambrose and Wyatt who can talk for days, and you would never get bored with them. And then you've got subtle growth in Harper, and then you've got Reigns starting to take his own. So it's definitely a great dynamic.
Yeah. What do you think of Alexander Rusev and Lana?
All right, I liked Rusev in NXT. I think he's got a very good in-ring skill set. I'm not sure about his ceiling as far as where he can go, because I'm not that sold on his ability to sell himself.
Okay. So you think he's good,
Um,
but possibly could do with a bit more time down in
and
NXT?
I think Rusev probably could have benefited from a few more months in NXT. I do like his skill set, and he's a big, strong, athletic type of wrestler, kind of out of the mold of Big E Langston. And having Lana around can only be a good thing, because you can't have too many female wrestling valets. That was something that used to be really big in pro wrestling, was female managers with talent.
Yeah. Personally, I think Lana's great. She seems to have the microphone skills from these promos, even if we're not seeing much of her. But she definitely has... It's going to elevate the Rusev character when he comes through onto the main roster. Straight after that, though, we got a match between Naomi and Oksana, and for some reason, Alicia Fox seemed to be hanging around Oksana.
I don't know what's going on here, and honestly, I hope this match doesn't kill Naomi.
She took an eye injury, didn't she?
Yeah. Oksana botched a sunset flip counter and kneed her straight in the eye. And cracked her orbital bone.
That sounds painful.
Bone around the eye. And I don't know how long she's going to be out.
Well, that seems
they're
like...
supposed to find out in a few days.
Yeah, I think the best part of this whole match, though, was AJ Lee on commentary.
But I hope it...
Because AJ Lee is complete and utter gold on commentary. I think she dubbed the Alicia Fox Oksana team as Foxana. But yeah, she's got Tamina still there. She seemed to be blaming her a little bit. So I'm not too sure if by blaming Tamina we're going to see a split soon, maybe, with Tamina splitting off AJ and heading towards the Divas title. Maybe at WrestleMania or sometime around there. You never know. So, yeah, AJ's gold on commentary, isn't she?
She's alright. I enjoy her.
Do you think we're going to see Tamina or AJ split?
Possibly. That may be what they have to do if Naomi can't face her.
Okay.
Because it was clear they were building her to be the next opponent.
Well, up next, the main event, Randy Orton, Daniel Bryan.
What can I say? They gave them a ton of time, and they showed once again why they belong where they belonged.
Corporate Kane stuck his nose in, though.
And got a foot to the face.
Yeah. But after the match, even though Daniel Bryan did win, he pinned the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, Daniel Bryan did suffer a beatdown.
Yeah. Clearly they're moving forward with the Authority versus Daniel Bryan.
Which was meant for Punk.
Which makes for making sure that Punk is pretty much out of the plans.
Yeah.
Entirely.
Well, over on SmackDown at the start of that, Daniel Bryan actually called out Kane.
And Kane booked Antonio Cesaro versus Daniel Bryan, which the internet fans all rejoiced afterwards.
Yeah.
They were like Randy Marsh from South Park.
Okay. Daniel Bryan won that again. He's good at winning these matches.
and then got a beat down.
Yeah, he's good at getting beatdowns as well. So, do you think Kane might maybe cost Bryan the chamber match?
It's likely. It's also possible they may do this. How about double duty for Daniel Bryan?
True. That could force him into doing the...
have him in a, say, no-holds-barred match with Kane, and then the chamber match.
Yeah. I could see it. If we're jumping back to the start of the show, the Shield had a tag team match. They put the two dysfunctional members of the team, Reigns and Ambrose, together against Kingston and Ziggler. Quite a funny end. Reigns actually speared his opponent and then gave the win to Ambrose because of what happened over on Raw.
Yeah. One-upsmanship at its best. This is going to be explosive when the Shield blows up.
I think when they do, it will definitely be Ambrose versus Reigns. I think Rollins is just hiding in the shadows at the moment.
Yeah. Who knows what they'll do with him? It's always been my fear that he'll get lost in the shuffle.
Yeah.
Because Reigns, I always saw the size in Reigns, so I knew that they would push him. And Ambrose can, and as I said earlier, can talk for days and you never get tired of it. So they'll push him on that side.
Yeah.
Because how you can sell yourself is one of the biggest ways you can get a push in WWE. And Ambrose can do that. But Rollins was always the guy that looked just like he'd be the third wheel.
Yeah.
And would be vanish once the Shield was done.
Jumping to the middle of the show, we actually got a promo. Mark Henry is coming back from his broken arm next week.
It'd be interesting to see where they go from here. I'm hoping that they do some sort of promo with Big E, that Mark Henry is not happy that he didn't have his back with Lesnar, to lead to a program between Big E and Mark Henry that results in a WrestleMania match that has Mark Henry put Big E over.
Yeah. I could see it. We'll jump to the main event because we're running out of time here. Randy Orton took on Christian and is now 1-1 with his gauntlet matches.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see where they go from here. They did reuse some of the finishes from the 2011 feud with Orton and Christian. But that's not necessarily a bad thing because we hadn't seen the aerial RKO out of nowhere in a while.
Yeah. I think...
So that was a good thing.
If you're looking at it, you can clearly see what WWE see as the A-grade gauntlet matches and the B-grade gauntlet matches. Where they've booked Orton versus Bryan, Cena, and Sheamus on Raw, while they booked Christian and Cesaro on SmackDown.
Yeah, that probably will be the case. I'm actually looking forward to the Cesaro match with Randy Orton.
Yeah, it's one of the ones that could go either way.
Yeah, and I'm also interested in Sheamus because famously, Sheamus versus Orton was when the crowd went absolutely bananas in New Jersey.
Yeah.
They were at their peak during that match. So I'm interested in seeing how the crowd reacts to that match.
Okay. We got a small amount of time. Titus O'Neil did an interview and Darren Young attacked him, so it looks like they're definitely not split amicably.
Yeah. Well, would you if you had somebody beat you up after your match 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, I don't think I would be. So we're probably heading towards some form of match between them.
Yeah. probably the singles match in Elimination Chamber.
Yeah. Okay, well, it's been great talking to you, Josh.
Been great being on again.
Even through all the technical issues. And in birthdays this week, we've got the innovator of violence, Tommy Dreamer, turning 43. Viscera, Big Daddy V, Mabel, whatever you want to call him, he's turning 42. The world's most dangerous man, Ken Shamrock, turning 50. Tara from TNA, or Victoria from WWE, again, whatever you call her, she's turning 43. The world's largest athlete, Big Show, is turning 42. We don't have all too much in the way of a New Zealand recap either. I do know that IPW's new show is going to be up March 22nd over in the Linfield Rec Centre, I believe. So head down or up to that if you can. So that's it from Wrestling Roundup this week. It's been Grady Hooker and Josh. You can visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/Wrestling Roundup Radio, or our Twitter page, twitter.com/Wrestling R Radio, or our website, www.wrestlingroundup.host22.com, wrestlingroundup.host22.com. And I'll see you next week.